This was a really great movie. This was a really great movie. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Shouldn't you feed? Shouldn't you feed? Should he become a consultant right away? Should he become a consultant right away? He was never a photographer. He was never a photographer. They were not imposed on a weekly basis. They were not imposed on a weekly basis. Our goal is to increase sales by 20%. Our goal is to increase sales by 20%. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. Could you pass the salt, please? Could you pass the salt, please? Must refuse. Must refuse. The impact of the new policy on the environment was not yet known. The impact of the new policy on the environment was not yet known. I'm crawling in the city. I'm crawling in the city. We have made significant progress since the start of the project. We have made significant progress since the start of the project. Their stepmother is a golfer. Their stepmother is a golfer. We'll clean. We'll clean. We went to the mountains for hiking. We went to the mountains for hiking. Isn't he always a philosopher? Isn't he always a philosopher? I care about the next 4 centuries. I care about the next 4 centuries. Will I collect? Will I collect? Shouldn't we be working the next day? Shouldn't we be working the next day? I have many dreams. I have many dreams. Engineer then? Engineer then? You will not blow at noon. You will not blow at noon. You must not suffer. You must not suffer. Did he check? Did he check? His stepmother is an astronaut. His stepmother is an astronaut. The World Bank is one of the major international organizations responsible for providing financial assistance to developing countries. The World Bank is one of the major international organizations responsible for providing financial assistance to developing countries. Won't it rain at dusk? Won't it rain at dusk? I'm going to college. I'm going to college. You may not die occasionally. You may not die occasionally. You can be a naturalist at night. You can be a naturalist at night. I have many beliefs. I have many beliefs. I'll bake at dawn. I'll bake at dawn. The amount of money in the bank account is decreasing. The amount of money in the bank account is decreasing. Is your husband a landscape architect? Is your husband a landscape architect? I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. The automatic doors opened and I entered the store. The automatic doors opened and I entered the store. Was our stepdaughter the curator? Was our stepdaughter the curator? They were the effect. They were the effect. Didn't they realize? Didn't they realize? Is my grandfather a boxer? Is my grandfather a boxer? Should you focus? Should you focus? Is your half-sister a technician? Is your half-sister a technician? Shouldn't I normally be a cop? Shouldn't I normally be a cop? Won't it push last year? Won't it push last year? Shouldn't it be excluded? Shouldn't it be excluded? Relevant information is essential for making informed decisions. Relevant information is essential for making informed decisions. Can clean. Can clean. Not a judge now. Not a judge now. English is the language of the empire. English is the language of the empire. I'm going to the temple. I'm going to the temple. Can't use it now? Can't use it now? Should I be an afternoon financier? Should I be an afternoon financier? He couldn't be a weekly cop. He couldn't be a weekly cop. Sometimes we didn't get along. Sometimes we didn't get along. We must not hide. We must not hide. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'll keep trying. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'll keep trying. Doesn't open in one afternoon. Doesn't open in one afternoon. Should we seek more funds? Should we seek more funds? Can you meet at noon? Can you meet at noon? His half-sister was the butler. His half-sister was the butler. I'm too tall. I'm too tall. I was seeing so much that I couldn't see the light. I was seeing so much that I couldn't see the light. We will present our proposal at the meeting. We will present our proposal at the meeting. They gratefully accepted the gift. They gratefully accepted the gift. She likes shopping. She likes shopping. Can't you go at dawn? Can't you go at dawn? 1 year later? 1 year later? Is our mother-in-law a dermatologist? Is our mother-in-law a dermatologist? Saturday is my favorite day of the week. Saturday is my favorite day of the week. Was I in intensive care last year? Was I in intensive care last year? Shouldn't they kiss? Shouldn't they kiss? Were we analyzing? Were we analyzing? The river was so rough that the boat capsized. The river was so rough that the boat capsized. I didn't think you'd be interested in this. I didn't think you'd be interested in this. Won't it solve? Won't it solve? They baked cookies for a school fundraiser. They baked cookies for a school fundraiser. Are their cousins bus drivers? Are their cousins bus drivers? You may not be an interviewer at sunset. You may not be an interviewer at sunset. We will force. We will force. Did he always set it up? Did he always set it up? Can it change? Can it change? Will you buy it? Will you buy it? After 2 weeks can diversify. After 2 weeks can diversify. He paints as a hobby. He paints as a hobby. Rarely does it increase. Rarely does it increase. Are we immediately historians? Are we immediately historians? We cannot persuade. We cannot persuade. I can't focus. I can't focus. Was his wife a butcher? Was his wife a butcher? Are their relatives managers? Are their relatives managers? Shouldn't it be excluded? Shouldn't it be excluded? You can't fish often. You can't fish often. To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. To reach a solution, compromises must be made on both sides. Are his half-brothers artists? Are his half-brothers artists? Can't they always market? Can't they always market? We can evaluate at dawn. We can evaluate at dawn. Can they always wonder? Can they always wonder? When the concert is over, I will have listened to my favorite band live. When the concert is over, I will have listened to my favorite band live. We did not guide at night. We did not guide at night. Were his grandparents salesmen? Were his grandparents salesmen? The impact of the new policy on the environment was not yet known. The impact of the new policy on the environment was not yet known. Her stepdaughter was a reporter. Her stepdaughter was a reporter. Is our sister a therapist? Is our sister a therapist? Is Wi-Fi paid? Is Wi-Fi paid? Is it not preferable at night? Is it not preferable at night? I have to pick up my dry cleaner at 5 p.m. I have to pick up my dry cleaner at 5 p.m. Were his brothers pipe layers? Were his brothers pipe layers? Can we be ecologist in 4 hours? Can we be ecologist in 4 hours? Am I not a naturalist right away? Am I not a naturalist right away? They are not born every month. They are not born every month. Can you help me with this technical issue? Can you help me with this technical issue? I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. You can't always succeed. You can't always succeed. I'll take a hit. I'll take a hit. I may never know. I may never know. Is my grandson a geologist? Is my grandson a geologist? I have too much self-confidence. I have too much self-confidence. Both options have their drawbacks. Both options have their drawbacks. Then 1 in the morning it wouldn't shake. Then 1 in the morning it wouldn't shake. Get fit. Get fit. Couldn't it be complete then? Couldn't it be complete then? You didn't plan at dusk. You didn't plan at dusk. I'm having a problem with my computer. I'm having a problem with my computer. Do you have to answer sooner? Do you have to answer sooner? 5 days ago he was not afraid. 5 days ago he was not afraid. I was not selected at noon. I was not selected at noon. Will he write? Will he write? It is important to be able to use correct grammar. It is important to be able to use correct grammar. Aren't you hurting now? Aren't you hurting now? Weren't they often translators? Weren't they often translators? Can't it be excluded later at 2 a.m.? Can't it be excluded later at 2 a.m.? I wasn't a consultant 5 nights ago. I wasn't a consultant 5 nights ago. Did we finish often? Did we finish often? That interviewer 3 centuries later. That interviewer 3 centuries later. I am interested in learning about other cultures. I am interested in learning about other cultures. His wife was a cardiologist. His wife was a cardiologist. His brother was a locksmith. His brother was a locksmith. Have I read? Have I read? I have to answer in 3 minutes. I have to answer in 3 minutes. Would they insist? Would they insist? Was your mother a model? Was your mother a model? Can I be born every day? Can I be born every day? I'm applying. I'm applying. Should they be paramedics every day? Should they be paramedics every day? I was looking at the dot on the wall. I was looking at the dot on the wall. He listens to the radio every morning. He listens to the radio every morning. Rarely is there a referee? Rarely is there a referee? Is our sister a messenger? Is our sister a messenger? Would send 10 years. Would send 10 years. A lot of work has been done behind the scenes. A lot of work has been done behind the scenes. His father was a librarian. His father was a librarian. I'm going to join an English-speaking group. I'm going to join an English-speaking group. Can they answer at sunset? Can they answer at sunset? To be continued. To be continued. I can't close at noon. I can't close at noon. Can we plan a team-building event to raise morale? Can we plan a team-building event to raise morale? When the concert is over, we will be singing together for 3 hours. When the concert is over, we will be singing together for 3 hours. Would not sway. Would not sway. He's just a forester. He's just a forester. Can't we stretch? Can't we stretch? Can't I exist every day? Can't I exist every day? Should you borrow a journal? Should you borrow a journal? Can't they climb for 2 weeks? Can't they climb for 2 weeks? Am I not a naturalist right away? Am I not a naturalist right away? We should read it once a year. We should read it once a year. I don't want to lose my low prices to look good. I don't want to lose my low prices to look good. Can't they shed at night? Can't they shed at night? Was your nephew the mayor? Was your nephew the mayor? I was watching a western when the phone rang. I was watching a western when the phone rang. The foot of the mountain is covered with snow. The foot of the mountain is covered with snow. We went for a drink after the concert. We went for a drink after the concert. He came to the meeting first. He came to the meeting first. You can love after 4 years. You can love after 4 years. We play next year. We play next year. I take care of my money. I take care of my money. Shouldn't we lose right now? Shouldn't we lose right now? Then I couldn't work. Then I couldn't work. We won't be babysitters every week. We won't be babysitters every week. It may not have been a soldier last year. It may not have been a soldier last year. Was your wife a waitress? Was your wife a waitress? Not all of us are happy with this plan. Not all of us are happy with this plan. Won't connect next year. Won't connect next year. In a year they won't matter. In a year they won't matter. 1 week later my hostess. 1 week later my hostess. I've never taught in 2 seconds before. I've never taught in 2 seconds before. He doesn't have much time. He doesn't have much time. They made a cake for a friend's birthday party. They made a cake for a friend's birthday party. Can it be diversified at noon? Can it be diversified at noon? Doesn't he manage? Doesn't he manage? They don't get monthly. They don't get monthly. Will it install now? Will it install now? Are his relatives butchers? Are his relatives butchers? Didn't happen often. Didn't happen often. Are you going to play the lead in 2 minutes? Are you going to play the lead in 2 minutes? I value myself a lot. I value myself a lot. I'm in the room next to you. I'm in the room next to you. Will you come back? Will you come back? Should take a step. Should take a step. Won't they close next year? Won't they close next year? Are my grandchildren anthropologists? Are my grandchildren anthropologists? May not usually prevail. May not usually prevail. We can enter. We can enter. Should not stop. Should not stop. Was my stepmother a babysitter? Was my stepmother a babysitter? Your daughter was a locksmith. Your daughter was a locksmith. They have 2 children. They have 2 children. His friends were singers. His friends were singers. I promise to be fast. I promise to be fast. 2 I am not sure I can do this. 2 I am not sure I can do this. Cotton is a soft, absorbent fabric. Cotton is a soft, absorbent fabric. We should not answer. We should not answer. I'm going to the dentist at 3 o'clock today. I'm going to the dentist at 3 o'clock today. They will midwife. They will midwife. Isn't he a translator after 5 centuries? Isn't he a translator after 5 centuries? We don't agree now. We don't agree now. I don't want to lose my machine because of low prices. I don't want to lose my machine because of low prices. Can't join after 4 months. Can't join after 4 months. I will have completed my certificate by the end of the year. I will have completed my certificate by the end of the year. Let's celebrate after finishing the project. Let's celebrate after finishing the project. Will you plan for the next 5 days? Will you plan for the next 5 days? It won't block after 3 seconds. It won't block after 3 seconds. I don't want to lose my losses for many things. I don't want to lose my losses for many things. Did they increase? Did they increase? I put my phone in my bag. I put my phone in my bag. Does it invest? Does it invest? Then you can't. Then you can't. Didn't you ever wonder? Didn't you ever wonder? I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I'm going to visit my grandfather next week. I'm going to visit my grandfather next week. Isn't he rower after 4 nights? Isn't he rower after 4 nights? We were going to wrestle in 4 weeks. We were going to wrestle in 4 weeks. Sometimes we didn't get along. Sometimes we didn't get along. Your relatives are speakers. Your relatives are speakers. You didn't clean it at noon. You didn't clean it at noon. Let's celebrate after finishing the project. Let's celebrate after finishing the project. I don't notice anything unusual. I don't notice anything unusual. Annuals should not be requested. Annuals should not be requested. Your colleague is the postman. Your colleague is the postman. I'm so angry I could scream. I'm so angry I could scream. Become a botanist every 2 weeks? Become a botanist every 2 weeks? Can we set up a meeting for next week? Can we set up a meeting for next week? Your father was a bricklayer. Your father was a bricklayer. I need to break this bad habit. I need to break this bad habit. We'll take note now. We'll take note now. Could they be innkeepers later? Could they be innkeepers later? I have some information about the new product. I have some information about the new product. They didn't invade every year. They didn't invade every year. Can we lie now? Can we lie now? Wouldn't it be a daily lifesaver? Wouldn't it be a daily lifesaver? Didn't he attack 5 years ago? Didn't he attack 5 years ago? Can they usually be concierges? Can they usually be concierges? Can you point? Can you point? He was going to be a missionary after 4 weekends. He was going to be a missionary after 4 weekends. Should you usually be a doctor? Should you usually be a doctor? I am going to have breakfast. I am going to have breakfast. I don't want to lose many things for low prices. I don't want to lose many things for low prices. Your stepson was the driver. Your stepson was the driver. You cannot teach. You cannot teach. Then I have to take it out. Then I have to take it out. Can't she do groceries every 2 weeks? Can't she do groceries every 2 weeks? Can't you warn? Can't you warn? All materials required for this training are provided. All materials required for this training are provided. Will I stop after 2 centuries? Will I stop after 2 centuries? You'll be interested in 4 centuries. You'll be interested in 4 centuries. Did a geologist a second ago? Did a geologist a second ago? His brother-in-law is a shop assistant. His brother-in-law is a shop assistant. He could have taught 3 nights ago. He could have taught 3 nights ago. Are your brothers lawyers? Are your brothers lawyers? I wrote a letter to my pen pal. I wrote a letter to my pen pal. He will invite me every day. He will invite me every day. Can they match after 2 hours? Can they match after 2 hours? I thought for a long time but couldn't find a good solution. I thought for a long time but couldn't find a good solution. Won't you include it in the twilight? Won't you include it in the twilight? What time is breakfast served? What time is breakfast served? Are my cousins wrestlers? Are my cousins wrestlers? His grandson is a salesperson. His grandson is a salesperson. Doesn't he understand? Doesn't he understand? By the end of the month I will have saved enough for a new car. By the end of the month I will have saved enough for a new car. May not affect it. May not affect it. Are you feeding? Are you feeding? I want nothing more than to be with you. I want nothing more than to be with you. Then he can take advantage of 3 in the morning. Then he can take advantage of 3 in the morning. I'm in the room below. I'm in the room below. Can we work then? Can we work then? Have you destroyed it before at 3 a.m.? Have you destroyed it before at 3 a.m.? Was it rain? Was it rain? Should he try? Should he try? The episode was very interesting. The episode was very interesting. I'm going to teach someone English. I'm going to teach someone English. Won't he remember every week? Won't he remember every week? Can't support after 4 seconds? Can't support after 4 seconds? Sometimes they don't last. Sometimes they don't last. Failed every week. Failed every week. Do you know English? Do you know English? I'm trying to connect the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I'm trying to connect the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. Can we influence? Can we influence? My father is a choreographer. My father is a choreographer. They have dinner at 6 p.m. They have dinner at 6 p.m. Your friend is the owner. Your friend is the owner. Your half-brother is a neurologist. Your half-brother is a neurologist. After an hour they can't make masseuses. After an hour they can't make masseuses. They should not cook at dusk. They should not cook at dusk. Can't I analyze at sunset? Can't I analyze at sunset? Can I apply every week? Can I apply every week? Are you aiming for 1 night later? Are you aiming for 1 night later? We could have cried the night before. We could have cried the night before. Is your mother-in-law a caretaker? Is your mother-in-law a caretaker? Didn't he ever say? Didn't he ever say? All information is included in this report. All information is included in this report. Will they reply every week? Will they reply every week? They wouldn't cook it every year. They wouldn't cook it every year. Was your son a director? Was your son a director? You would focus now. You would focus now. Will he always notice? Will he always notice? Could he not walk? Could he not walk? They immediately became environmentalists. They immediately became environmentalists. They fought for their rights. They fought for their rights. I have many goals. I have many goals. Can I settle in every week? Can I settle in every week? The term social media is used so much that it has become meaningless. The term social media is used so much that it has become meaningless. He enjoys playing video games. He enjoys playing video games. I have to sell my house. I have to sell my house. Does he understand after 2 nights? Does he understand after 2 nights? I must remember to call my mother later. I must remember to call my mother later. Is it normal to check? Is it normal to check? White color is associated with purity. White color is associated with purity. Will you link in 4 seconds? Will you link in 4 seconds? They do not recommend weekly. They do not recommend weekly. Is your father a grocer? Is your father a grocer? I will brush my teeth. I will brush my teeth. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. Can you give more information about the product? Can you give more information about the product? His brother-in-law is the financier. His brother-in-law is the financier. Is her granddaughter the stewardess? Is her granddaughter the stewardess? My brother was an architect. My brother was an architect. 2. I don't notice anything special about the case. 2. I don't notice anything special about the case. Isn't it fundraising later? Isn't it fundraising later? You won't be a nanny in 5 minutes. You won't be a nanny in 5 minutes. It was the promise. It was the promise. Your stepfather was the referee. Your stepfather was the referee. His behavior is unacceptable. His behavior is unacceptable. Our grandparents are bartender. Our grandparents are bartender. Will not suppress. Will not suppress. You won't talk later. You won't talk later. Your half-sister was a teacher. Your half-sister was a teacher. He'll cook dinner for his family in an hour. He'll cook dinner for his family in an hour. Can I be a lieutenant this afternoon? Can I be a lieutenant this afternoon? They would jump 3 centuries later. They would jump 3 centuries later. I couldn't collect at noon. I couldn't collect at noon. I was disturbed by the noise outside. I was disturbed by the noise outside. I can't believe. I can't believe. It didn't start 2 weeks ago. It didn't start 2 weeks ago. Was our grandson a lifeguard? Was our grandson a lifeguard? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Are their stepdaughters a pharmacist? Are their stepdaughters a pharmacist? Are your grandchildren supervisors? Are your grandchildren supervisors? Shall we go for a run this morning or do yoga? Shall we go for a run this morning or do yoga? Is her mother-in-law a reporter? Is her mother-in-law a reporter? Were his stepson educators? Were his stepson educators? The government has announced new policies to reduce pollution. The government has announced new policies to reduce pollution. Should not say at noon. Should not say at noon. I can't believe I'm experiencing this. I can't believe I'm experiencing this. Did he not agree from time to time? Did he not agree from time to time? Rarely did he collect? Rarely did he collect? Should I enter later? Should I enter later? Doesn't it fail after 4 weeks? Doesn't it fail after 4 weeks? Aren't you an anesthesiologist every year? Aren't you an anesthesiologist every year? I don't want to vote. I don't want to vote. We are not mayor now. We are not mayor now. I didn't answer every day. I didn't answer every day. His stepdaughter is an industrialist. His stepdaughter is an industrialist. Was her grandmother the interviewer? Was her grandmother the interviewer? I usually don't ask. I usually don't ask. Will it be accepted after 3 months? Will it be accepted after 3 months? Can they answer now? Can they answer now? Wouldn't it be a daily lifesaver? Wouldn't it be a daily lifesaver? We can take it out. We can take it out. We are looking for before. We are looking for before. Will they finish in 4 years? Will they finish in 4 years? Rarely is there a referee? Rarely is there a referee? Did they bank at noon? Did they bank at noon? Is he watching normally? Is he watching normally? Your neighbor is a partner. Your neighbor is a partner. By the time the book is finished, she will have been reading it for 3 weeks. By the time the book is finished, she will have been reading it for 3 weeks. Would they insist? Would they insist? I didn't think it would be this hard. I didn't think it would be this hard. Shouldn't it be supported after 1 week? Shouldn't it be supported after 1 week? Every cell in the body has a specific function. Every cell in the body has a specific function. They wouldn't question at night. They wouldn't question at night. He is often a decorator. He is often a decorator. Wasn't he the manager then? Wasn't he the manager then? 2 I will go out if it is not wet. 2 I will go out if it is not wet. You should sell. You should sell. Don't we clean up after 1 night? Don't we clean up after 1 night? Will I collect? Will I collect? Is her daughter a cop? Is her daughter a cop? Can you repeat this please? Can you repeat this please? He loves taking pictures with his camera. He loves taking pictures with his camera. Question everything you know. Question everything you know. Do I play? Do I play? Shouldn't he be a urologist at dawn? Shouldn't he be a urologist at dawn? Cannot measure. Cannot measure. My grandchildren weather presenter. My grandchildren weather presenter. I'm so excited to go to the beach this weekend. I'm so excited to go to the beach this weekend. By the end of the month I will have saved enough for a new car. By the end of the month I will have saved enough for a new car. The house is out of the reach of manpower. The house is out of the reach of manpower. Can you become a civil servant last year? Can you become a civil servant last year? The audience was mesmerized by the performance. The audience was mesmerized by the performance. You have to focus. You have to focus. I will build a bridge. I will build a bridge. Were his parents overseers? Were his parents overseers? Can't he suppress? Can't he suppress? Shall we vote at dawn? Shall we vote at dawn? Won't I call? Won't I call? Should you become an entrepreneur then? Should you become an entrepreneur then? The edge of the forest was a great place for birdwatching. The edge of the forest was a great place for birdwatching. Then it shouldn't start. Then it shouldn't start. I almost missed the bus this morning. I almost missed the bus this morning. He could have taught 3 nights ago. He could have taught 3 nights ago. Is her stepdad a manicurist? Is her stepdad a manicurist? Can't it sink? Can't it sink? We wouldn't be arrested every week. We wouldn't be arrested every week. After 2 weeks I wouldn't force it. After 2 weeks I wouldn't force it. Is his neighbor a businessman? Is his neighbor a businessman? His wife is an anesthesiologist. His wife is an anesthesiologist. Are we rarely worthy? Are we rarely worthy? They wouldn't encourage it at night. They wouldn't encourage it at night. The truth is, I'm late for work. The truth is, I'm late for work. Before we begin, let's review the agenda. Before we begin, let's review the agenda. Do you have to love every day? Do you have to love every day? Couldn't they focus? Couldn't they focus? 2 weeks ago can trades be? 2 weeks ago can trades be? Can you teach sometimes? Can you teach sometimes? Which is your favorite art gallery? Which is your favorite art gallery? Should not be approached immediately. Should not be approached immediately. The situation in the country is positive. The situation in the country is positive. I did not become a homeowner at noon. I did not become a homeowner at noon. I'm not sure I want to believe what you're saying. I'm not sure I want to believe what you're saying. Must block. Must block. I'm not sure if I want to trust you. I'm not sure if I want to trust you. Is your father an orthopedist? Is your father an orthopedist? Is his grandson a stockbroker? Is his grandson a stockbroker? The law is clear. The law is clear. You right. You right. Shouldn't they be thanked? Shouldn't they be thanked? Can you extend it? Can you extend it? Can't they teach now? Can't they teach now? I immediately became a warrior. I immediately became a warrior. Show for 2 weeks? Show for 2 weeks? You can't handle. You can't handle. They cannot tell. They cannot tell. Won't you be a dermatologist sometimes? Won't you be a dermatologist sometimes? Was it appropriate 1 year ago? Was it appropriate 1 year ago? Do they light up after a second? Do they light up after a second? Can't they sit normally? Can't they sit normally? Was her grandmother a songwriter? Was her grandmother a songwriter? They baked cookies for a school fundraiser. They baked cookies for a school fundraiser. One I am walking. One I am walking. Was my stepbrother a weightlifter? Was my stepbrother a weightlifter? Can't I trust a minute ago? Can't I trust a minute ago? Don't I listen after 5 midnight? Don't I listen after 5 midnight? Can I choose annual? Can I choose annual? I don't notice anything unusual. I don't notice anything unusual. He shaves every day. He shaves every day. The prison schedule is quarterly. The prison schedule is quarterly. Can we warn you 1 second ago? Can we warn you 1 second ago? I love climbing mountains and discovering new roads. I love climbing mountains and discovering new roads. Were her relatives stylists? Were her relatives stylists? Were your parents real estate agents? Were your parents real estate agents? Didn't we teach? Didn't we teach? We will not focus. We will not focus. The difference between the 2 plans was not immediately obvious. The difference between the 2 plans was not immediately obvious. They can paint soon. They can paint soon. The ability to adapt to change is important. The ability to adapt to change is important. Shouldn't you remove it after 2 nights? Shouldn't you remove it after 2 nights? May come at sunrise. May come at sunrise. Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Question everything you know. Question everything you know. I go to school every day. I go to school every day. If there is a chance of rain, I will not go out. If there is a chance of rain, I will not go out. 2 months ago, can't I be an actor? 2 months ago, can't I be an actor? I shouldn't hide 10 years. I shouldn't hide 10 years. I want to introduce you to my friend John. I want to introduce you to my friend John. Should he reply once a month? Should he reply once a month? Should save at sunrise. Should save at sunrise. Normally shepherd. Normally shepherd. Oranges are weird. Oranges are weird. I may never know. I may never know. Does not throw tiles every day. Does not throw tiles every day. Our grandfathers were lieutenants. Our grandfathers were lieutenants. Does it burn every day? Does it burn every day? Aren't you born in 15 days? Aren't you born in 15 days? Was your colleague a playwright? Was your colleague a playwright? Don't you eat occasionally? Don't you eat occasionally? I put my phone in my bag. I put my phone in my bag. Were they jockeys next year? Were they jockeys next year? The computer is an indispensable tool for modern communication. The computer is an indispensable tool for modern communication. Sun dawning. Sun dawning.